This week explores the emergence of environmental consciousness at a global level. The investigation faces up to possibly the biggest challenge of our time, the inexorable drive of the current economic growth model, the pressures it places on the environment and the Earth's limited carrying capacity. The term sustainable development is believed to have been coined in 1987, and it was not until 1992 at the World Commission on Environment and Development that it was formally recognised by the international community when its chair released a report defining sustainable development as development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The parlous state of the planet as a sustainable ecosystem has been well documented. The Union of Concerned Scientists described the threat to the planet and its future sustainability with the warning that human beings and the natural world are on a collision course. If not checked, many of our current practices put at serious risk the future that we wish for humanity. In the wake of this sobering statement, there are many similar calls for action from organisations measuring and monitoring the planet's health, such as the Living Planet report published by the World Wildlife Fund, a highly regarded thermometer of the world's condition. In response to the relentless drive for economic growth, the General Secretary of the Club of Rome commented that society has been built on the notion that economic growth is entirely positive. He made the observation that this made sense as long as we were few people on the planet and the global economy was small enough compared to the natural system. This, he went on to say, is no longer the case. In their paper Towards Environmentally Sustainable Economic Growth, Chung and Lee suggest that environmental sustainability be redefined as the carrying capacity of a development process to ensure that natural resources are not depleted faster than they can be regenerated and the ecological system remains viable. They argue that this can be achieved by reducing environmental pressure, which is a function of three factors: lowering the population, reducing the amount of consumption and changing the pattern of per capita consumption of goods and services, and improving the technology with which goods and services are produced. Along with others, Chung and Lee argue that we need to adopt a new paradigm in economic growth, namely the paradigm of green growth or environmentally sustainable economic growth. They go on to suggest that this green growth paradigm requires society as a whole improves eco-efficiency in such a way that it produces more with less resource. They go on to suggest that this green growth paradigm requires that society as a whole improves eco-efficiency in such a way that it produces more with less raw materials by shifting to more eco-efficient technology and consumes less with greater satisfaction by adopting a more ecologically friendly lifestyle. Professor Tim Jackson, Economics Commissioner for the Sustainable Development Commission in the UK, published the report Prosperity Without Growth in 2009. He states that economic growth is totally at odds with our scientific knowledge of the finite resource base and the fragile ecology on which we depend for survival. He concludes that prosperity consists in our ability to flourish as human beings within the ecological limits of a finite planet. The challenge for our society is to create the conditions under which this is possible. It is the most urgent task of our time. Thank you.